What up, family? We back at it again with another great episode. It's your boy, E, and I'm with my brother,
Mario, let's get it.
so laid back, huh? And
Hey,
this is with another great episode of Kanes2Kicks. All
hey,
right now, brother. Let's get straight into it, man, and let's have a great
hey, hold on,
episode.
hold on, hold on. Before you get
But
into it, hey, cool as the other side of the pillow, brother. Hey, that's your boy. Cool as the other side of the pillow. All
Hey,
right, let's talk to
RIP.
him.
God, I see you. I see you. I see you. So let me ask you, man. When this episode comes out, playoffs will be finalized, and we'll have seating that's going on. My thing I want to ask you, because the thing I've been hearing a lot about, through talk shows, through podcasts. One of the things that they've said is teams need to tank in order to get the correct seeding. So again, you're not going against, maybe Denver first round or whoever that you're playing. Do you think that's a real thing? Do you think that is a real thing with people um, being able to tank in order to play the right seed?
Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's they're tanking. I just think they're strategizing to see, which fit is best, right? They probably don't want to exert, so much of their star players too early in the playoffs, and so they kind of want a simple seed. So I definitely believe, there's some type of strategy, when it comes to trying to get the right seed and play the right opponent. And obviously, you can see it through the NBA. I don't know if you checked the stats today. Today's Sunday, but there were some guys starting today that probably wouldn't have started, and that's been raising a lot of questions over basketball land. So I'm not gonna get into that, but absolutely, like I said, I won't call it tanking because I think a lot of takes. I mean, I think a lot of teams tank in order to get draft picks to to lose games so they can get a better draft kit. They can move up in the draft place. So I think that's more of the tanking. But I definitely think they're strategizing and and truthfully, you can't call it tanking, but yeah, they're absolutely doing something, whatever you want to call it. They're doing something to make sure they get, a quality seed and, maximize, whatever their game plan is to the utmost. So, for sure, what you think? What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I agree. I think that is what is happening. I mean, we see today, I think from what you just said, people starting that probably shouldn't have been. But also, you look at, Mikal Bridges, the New York Brooklyn game, um, only played 5 seconds just so he can continue his streak of, continuous games. So again, there's things like that where it's like, I mean, that's kind of like with NFL. When it gets to like the last game of the season, everybody is telling the quarterback, "Hey, I got incentives that are coming here. I need like 5 catches
Mm-hmm.
for $150 just so I can be able to hit my incentive of $1 million." Like everybody is doing that. So I get that point in regards to Mikal. Like again, you don't know what type of incentive is with that with having that streak. So I definitely get that. In regards to teams, sometimes again, and I can't say well the older generation didn't do this because we don't know. We don't
Mm-hmm.
know what the older generation,
Right.
again, was doing because ultimately I wasn't in tune with it like I am now. But I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that you're strategizing because ultimately it's like, bro, if you good, play who you gonna play.
I
Play, you
can feel you.
know what I mean? Play who you gonna play. Let's ball up, do what you got to do, and let's get to the championship.
Yeah.
I understand the strategy. I think this is one thing that the older generation has been saying of why they don't. Now, I won't say respect this generation, but they have a hard time with saying this generation is better than theirs because the load management. All these things when you had so many players playing 82 games back in the day. Like, it's so weird that you have faster athletes now, bigger athletes, stronger athletes than there was back in the day. But those athletes
Technology's
back in
better.
the day, what I mean? Technology that nowadays people, I just seen Stephon Diggs, that just signed a new deal and is just came off an ACL injury. My man is running after 5 months off the ACL.
Mm-hmm.
Again, that's football, but ultimately, what I'm using that as back in the day, players were playing 82 games, and it wasn't something of you would hear all these leg injuries that are going on with the ACLs, the like especially Achilles. I didn't start hearing Achilles injuries until probably when her Kobe hurt his Achilles. Like I didn't even know that was something that you could be able to do in that situation,
Mm-hmm.
man. So I think ultimately it sucks to see, but I would love just to be able to just get away from it, man.
Yeah,
Because ultimately it's just, yo, just play up, straight
for
up.
sure. And let me ask you this question. So from a fan perspective, right? People who are paying their hard-earned money to go see these guys play, they're traveling. I mean, some people are literally traveling across the world to see these players play. So how do you feel about that, right? Like I said, people spend their hard-earned money. They're traveling across the world. They're traveling across the states to see these players play, but they get to the arena and these guys aren't playing, or halfway on their flight, they're checking their ESPN app and these players are out, and it's like, wow, I spent all this money to see you guys play because who pays their salary, right? It's the guys, it's the fans, right? It's the loyal fans who go to the game, who buy the jerseys, and who keep these organizations running. So, how do you feel about those fans who don't get to see them play? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
So I'm actually gonna give a story about that, man. I ended up going to go see the Las Vegas Aces play last year, but it was their last game of the season. Again, for them, they had four, all-star players that sat. How did I
Wow.
feel about it? I didn't feel anything about it because ultimately, one, I knew what they were doing, and you got to be understanding of that, man. They're athletes. Their focus is we're trying to win this championship. Now, when we talk about in the regular season, you're trying to, load management somebody like load management. Maybe back in the and again, I don't know, but I just think more back in the day, it was maybe minute restriction. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we did just come off a back to back. We ain't gonna play him, 45 minutes. We're gonna play him maybe 30, maybe 25 minutes, just to be in that situation. So I think when we talk about like now, like fans flying, from different countries coming over, I don't think it's a bad situation. I think it's a bad I think it's a bad look, because I think ultimately you have those fans that are investing in you. Some people coming from China, some people coming from Korea. When they show signs up their hand from Korea, I would love to meet you, Russ, or
Right.
LeBron, or whoever the case may be. So yes, but you know, I think as well, like NFL doesn't have that same situation. They have 18 weeks, but they are more contact, in that situation. You don't really
Yeah.
hear about load management in that case. Don't get me wrong. You do hear about, other things that go on, but you don't hear about load management. And I think that's the one thing of why this game is becoming more watered down. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy basketball, but it's not the same as competitive. And we see that with the All-Star game, why it's not as competitive as it once was.
Right.
And I think, fan, that's how you start losing those consumer dollars. Again, you have, with the new NBA contract, TV contract, more with apps, more watching through Amazon, more watching through Peacock, things that people have to go and buy a subscription to. And I don't think
Yeah.
that's going to be a good look. Like most people are using, Stream East, to be able to go and watch their games. They're not watching their games through these channels that you have through NBA TV or through the NBA league package. Like don't get me wrong, there's a few here and there that have bought it, but there's not as many as I think the NBA thinks is going to happen, and especially
Yeah.
now with
No.
this low placement, it's not going to happen. But
Yeah,
that's
for
just my opinion.
sure.
What about you?
I'm kind of like you. It's a hit or miss, right? Like, I do feel bad for the fans who do travel, and they're so loyal to these athletes, and so they want to see them play. And so it sucks to travel miles and miles and miles, and then they're sitting on the bench, or the, load management, or they're resting, or they're strategizing for the playoffs, whatever you want to call it. But from the athlete's point of view, and from the organization, the coaching style's point of view, I understand it as well, right? Like, we're finna go into playoff time. We all know that you know playoffs is a totally different game than regular season. It's tougher. We're going to foul more. We're going to guard you full court. Screens aren't going to be as light as you thought they would be. We're not letting anything get the rim, right? So these guys got to get their bodies together. They got to get a lot of treatment, and they just got to get prepared because they finna go to war every single night to get to the next round of the playoffs and ultimately get to the championship. So it's a 50-50. It's hard to say one way or the other, how I feel about it, but definitely you want to, you want to be cognizant of that because the fans are the ones who keep, the dollars rolling in, and, they keep the eyes on the televisions. And so you definitely want to make sure you don't just push them to the wayside and be like, hey, oh, well, you came out here, but they're not playing. So, they got to figure out some type of balance to make sure, the fans get what they want, but the athletes are able to get ready and prepare for postseason as well. So, we'll see how it plays out over the years.
See, bro, I think that brings me back to just a kind of a topic we talked about the last episode, but we didn't really go really in detail. And it was something I wanted to ask with that topic, and it was just about the whole NIL slash transfer portal. Right now, we're at a point where athletes are going into the transfer portal like nobody's business. We said, somebody literally did it 13 minutes,
Hmm.
while they got eliminated, they went in. Somebody also, did it while the game was still going on. Somebody
Hmm.
did it, again before the game even, finished. So like again, that's just letting you know what is going on. But I want to ask a question. Do you think the NBA is starting to get to that territory where you get a lot of people that maybe are missing out on being able to have their dreams fulfilled because they're getting washed through the transfer portal? Like back in the day, they used to have, from high school to college or high school to the pros, and it had to stop because you used to have a lot of players that would get washed in that sequence, not getting drafted, then going as an undrafted free agent, not getting signed, and have a go overseas, and it's just not panning out how they would have if they wanted to went to college. Um, how do you think this is going to play out for the future? This whole transfer portal. Do you think it's going to be the same similar situation of what high school to the pros were? And do you think the NBA is going to have to step in to really have to put some mandated situation in there of, hey, you have to have at least you know 2 years before you can transfer over? Or somebody made a good comment. I don't know who. It might be the Houston coach, Kelvin Sampson, that if somebody does transfer, you got to be able to pay that for that player transferring to your school. But again, just bringing that question back, like, how do you feel with this going forward? Is this going to be something that is the NBA going to have to step in with? You think it's going to make the NBA more watered down? What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, we did talk a lot about this, and so for one, I think we were talking about in history, right? Just in the past, right? Like, especially in college football, NILs. I think it's needed in college football, basketball as well. But these, like, when you think about like these big powerhouse football teams like your Alabamas, your LSU's, and your Ohio States and things like that, powerhouses, right? I mean, they bring in so much money, and just think about all the athletes that's been cycled through those institutions that never made not $1 at those big schools, which is concerning at times, right? So you see why the athletes want to get their money, like why they want to get their NIL deals, but um, I don't think the NBA will ever step in because I think there's enough players to cycle through the NBA. They'll find talent if they need talent, and if you're on their radar, you'll know that you're on their radar, and they'll come get you, right? And so it's a small circle in a very exclusive circle that knows who's supposed to be in the NBA and who's not supposed to be in there. Now, do I feel like there's a few players who should be in the NBA but who took the NIL money and maybe have missed their opportunity? I've seen that. I've seen a kid just. I mean, I remember when Max was in pre-drafting out here in Vegas, and there was a kid in the gym working out, and he was actually maybe getting ready to go to college, and good kid. I mean, he could ball, he could hoop, and now he's on his fourth college team. Like he's literally finna transfer to his fourth college team because he's chasing that NIL dollar. And I think he missed that window to go into the NBA. And so I'm seeing more players miss their window now to get into the NBA than especially the players who we were expecting, right? They had that kid at Texas, right? I forget his name, first name Dylan, I want to say. And then he didn't amount to maybe what we thought he would be coming out as a freshman. And so he transferred. And then I never heard of him again. And I recently heard of him like a couple days ago. He's transferring to St. John's. And so kids like that who are high on that list to go to the NBA coming out of high school, but they get so lost in that transfer portal that the NBA is just it's out of the picture. They missed that window, and so you are starting to see that now. I'm not necessarily sure if NBA teams would try to modify it or make it work in their favor, but there's definitely a lot going on with the NIL monies. Not only on the NCAA basketball side, but NCAA women's sports. I'm seeing there's a lot of talk behind that. We talked about the girl from South Carolina, and then they picked up a player, immediately. You're seeing it big time within the football. Like, and Dion came out saying it, right? He kind of made, a lot of headlines when he talked about and highlighted, NIL and the transfer portal. Like, and not so much NIL, but, he told his team that when he got to Colorado, he said, I'm going to the portal. And he meant it. And he went to the portal and he got some players. And that's why, he got players that obviously came in with buy in. But the portal is a thing and it's here, bro. And I don't think it's going nowhere anytime soon because what's a couple $1 million to like what's 2 million to the hundred millions of dollars you're bringing in? What's 2 million you're spreading around to maybe 4 or 5 athletes, right? What is that to the hundreds of $1 million you're bringing in? So, I truthfully, it's hard for me to put my thumb on NIL and where it's going to go, the trajectory of it because it's new still, and I don't even think it's hit its height yet. So, it's going to be really interesting to see where it goes, within the next few years. But I think that's a really good question, man, and that's a question you kind of like study over the years, and you just kind of just you watch it, you watch it, you watch it, and you just see where it goes, where it ends up at, and how it plays out, and then we can always go back and see was it worth it or was it a bad idea? So what's your thoughts on it?
I think the reason why I asked that question is that again, it reminds me of back in the day, the baller Lenny Cook, that was rated over LeBron, coming out of high school and ended up going the route of going to the pros when he could have ended up going to I think either St. John's or Syracuse for a full ride scholarship to play ball, maybe doing 1 year in college. No, not Syracuse because Melo went there, but um, him being able to go to St. John's and still being able to get that college under him and then to be able to go into the league. And, he didn't do that. Didn't, I think either got drafted very late or didn't get drafted at all and then ended up not panning out. I hate to see stories like that. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty great stories out there that you could say the Eddie Currys that came from, high school to college or high school to the pros. You could say, Kevin Garnett, you could say Kobe Bryant. You can, go all the way, to the older, generations about people going from high school to, the pros. So again, I know there is, situations like that, but again, just the transfer portal, man, is just making me nervous, just for players that are out there, man. Because right now, I don't know if you also heard, the NCAA just made a rule that players do not get any restrictions against them at all for staying in at a JUCO. So if
Mm,
a player were to go to a JUCO his first 2 years, his time doesn't start at the NCAA anymore.
I did
His
see
time
that.
starts when he goes to a 4 year. So now you're going to start having older players come into the league where instead of at 18, 19, now they're coming in at 22, 24. So more of an older league, not more of a younger league in this situation.
Hmm.
And that goes for all the sports, not just, you're going to have somebody, basically grown men going against little kids.
Yeah.
Or you're not going to see little kids at all, being able to get any, like it is hard right now for students to be able to get, a scholarship. Because again, as Dion said too, why would I go get somebody that is a 2 star or whatever, and I know somebody that's a 5 star that's in a transfer portal right now. I'm gonna go get somebody I know that has played, that has some film, and I can be able to help him be able to play the way we need him to play.
And,
So
and not to
again,
not to cut you
go
off
ahead.
real quick, but not even a 2 star. Imagine if you go get a 3 star, but he has experience now in college football, like a 3 star
Oh,
opposed to the 4 star coming out of high school, right? Now
come
I
on.
know in the NBA they draft off potential and they draft, they're drafting young, but you are making a really good point. And so my bad, don't mean to cut you off, but that was a really
Oh
good
no,
point.
you was good. No, you was good, man. I think again, this is wrapping up for that topic. But again, man, I think we can go more in depth. But as we will see more and more later down the road, we'll be able to have more of a conversation about this. As we see more and more things happening, that are going on in the transfer portal. It's only been here, about 4 to 5 years, seeing these things. But just from the things that I see, man, I just hope it doesn't, become of what the NBA used to be.
Yeah.
Um, that gets to my next question, man. When we're recording today is Mamba Day. When we say Mamba Day, that is Kobe's last game, Mr. 60-point game, Mr. I am him still. And
Hi.
again,
Yeah.
this was definitely one of his definition games. I mean, we talk about many different games, but this was one of the definition games that I feel, solidify his career even more, and let again what we always talk about with every athlete is the Mamba mentality. And again, we'll have more of an episode of Kobe. We'll dig into, kind of talking about him more. But I just want to talk to you just about, can the Mamba mentality be taught? We see so many players that have, went to Kobe and, learned from him, whether that's Kawhi Leonard, whether that's Isaiah Thomas, whether that's, Jason Tatum, different athletes that have went to him and learned from him and learned about the game. They said Kobe went over a game with Isaiah Thomas and it took him 7 hours to go over one game.
Wow.
One game. We're not talking about, we're not talking about multiple games that he had in one day. No, we're talking about one game of just him going over the game that he's seen, and him breaking that down. So that lets you know how much effort and time that Kobe put into just his game and his film watching, in that situation. So my question to you is, can the Mamba mentality be taught?
I definitely think it can be taught, but I don't think taught is enough when it comes to Kobe Bryant. Like, I think the Mamba mentality has to be caught, right? It's like contagious. It's an experience that you have, right? As far as um, you know, going all out, right? Like you talk about him breaking down film, right? Like a lot of players have been taught how to break down film, but it's going all out. It's doing it in a totally different type of fashion, right? Like you can go watch film for 30 minutes and you can watch yourself, doing what looking at what you do right, what you don't do right. But the Kobe mentality, right? Kobe knows what Kobe can do because Kobe practices, right? So he puts a lot of effort in on the practice side to where when he gets to the game, Kobe says, I already did this. I already know what I'm finna do in the game. Like I'm that prepared. And so when you have that type of preparation, confidence is not even a question, like at all. And so the Mamba mentality is more so it's a process. It's a process of growing daily, of routines, of getting your head out of the clouds and putting in work when the other guys are out kicking it, when the other guys are out partying, and so it's more action than talk, I should say. And it's all on that person, but and the Kobe mentality, man, it's a lot to take in, bro. It's not for the weak. It's not average, right? It's not mediocre, and so that's why a lot of athletes don't have it. That's why it's hard for us to, and I think there's a Jordan mentality, right? It's hard for us to say guys are good like Jordan. It's hard for us to say guys are good like Kobe. We're looking like what do they say in this era, right? No disrespect to LeBron, but everybody's like, where is the next Jordan? Where's the next Kobe? And not meaning we want the Kobe, but we want the whoever you are, who are you, right? Who are you? Who's the person that's going to stand up and take the NBA on his back, right? I mean, who's going to get a farewell tour of every single city? Your last year playing basketball and the crowd's going crazy, and then you drop 60 points on your like. Who's going to be that guy? I think Jordan did it right in his own right. I think Kobe was magnificent at it, how he did it. I think LeBron is doing something spectacular that we've never seen before. I mean, you talk about Father Time I mean, it's not affecting LeBron. Like he's a monster. He's a different breed of a human being, but nothing touches the Kobe mentality, and it can be taught. I think anything can be taught, right? I mean, you can go on YouTube and you can be taught a whole bunch of stuff. Um, but does that mean they're going to execute it after they learn it, right? And so it's a different situation. It's a big difference. It's not something to where you can explain in the classroom. You can explain it all you want, but you got to go out there. You got to put 10 toes down, feet to the pavement, and you just got to make it happen. So there's a lot that I think the Kobe mentality, bro, it could be like a class in like at your university.
Come
When
on.
you talk about like overcoming and adversity, and you're talking about a person like Kobe who welcomes adversity. Most people shy away from adversity. They don't want any type of
Embrace
adversity. They
it.
just want
Embrace
to they just want to go. I mean, he embraces hard. Like when you embrace hard, when you embrace tough, like dude, what they say, you play now, you're gonna work for the rest of your life, right? Work hard
it.
now, and then so it's just so much that goes into that Kobe mentality, man, and that's why so many people don't have it because it can be taught, but you got to put it to action, and you got to go out and do it every single day, day in and day out. So that's kind of my
And I
little
think some
spiel.
people just don't have that. It's okay. It's okay. You know what I mean? Some people want to be that dog on the court, but you just don't have it, and that is okay. because you didn't learn it for when your moment came, you weren't prepared for it. Kobe prepared for his moment every single day in practice when nobody was there. That's why he woke up at 4 to be able to go get up, to be able to do another workout, to be able to have 2 under his belt by the time he went to go
Hmm.
do 3 at the regular practice when everybody was there. So again, when we talk about the mentality, people just didn't have that same mentality. You look at the Redeem team, look at the documentary, people thought Kobe was crazy because they was coming in from the club at 3, 4, and Kobe was going to the gym. AI, when they first got back, hey man, what you about to do today? Man, I'm about to go to the gym. Oh, I'm about to go to the club. Different mentality. Not saying AI wasn't a great player, not saying AI isn't that guy. He's still that guy at his where he was at. But could AI have gotten a championship? Yes. But that's a whole different topic. But I just think the mentality, I can teach you so many things. It's like you could teach a horse, or you can lead them to water, but you can't teach them to drink the water.
Amen.
Ultimately, we can teach you the mentality, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to want to pick it up and put that in those habits inside you. So
Yeah.
as we wrap that up, man, about that mentality, I just want to be able to talk about the shoe that dropped this week. And we're gonna talk about the Kobe's with us, man. Look at this beautiful box.
Let's see it. Talk about it.
Come on now, we're gonna do this unboxing. Shout out to my wife for her picking up, her Kobe with us. You know what I'm
So,
saying? Orange, the laces mixed in. You know what I'm saying? My favorite side,
mm,
blue side. You know what I mean? With the shoelaces to go with it. To throw in there, mix. Come on, different material on the shoe, light as a feather. Come on, man. This
oh,
woo,
that is such
woo.
a clean shoe. So when you first picked it up, like, what'd you think? Like, was it what you expected or what?
It was better than what I expected. It was
Okay.
light and the colors popped even more. There's only so much you can see on a picture. But from you to be able to see the shoe, feel the shoe, and like getting ringed up for the shoe, I was like, bro, this I can see why, which is so weird because from my peoples, like the shoes wasn't flying off the shelves like they were supposed to. Like maybe
Mm,
at like Nike stores, but like at Shoe Palace, they only had the grade schools. Most of the grade schools weren't selling like everybody thought, which is crazy. Because this shoe, bro, I think this is a great summer shoe. If I could double up on it, I probably would, but the way my pockets is set up, I can't do that. But again, this is a great summer shoe, bro. You talking about, being able to have a basketball shoe out that don't really look like a basketball shoe because it's just
yeah.
pops so much. Bro,
Yeah.
this is a perfect shoe, man. This is like as long as you ain't barbecuing, a barbecue shoe. Like you can go to the barbecues with this shoe and you're gonna be good.
So
People want
that's
to be looking at your feet like, okay,
so that's
okay,
that's the that's the barbecue shoe.
yeah, that I'm saying that's the summer shoe because you go on to barbecues in the summertime.
Got you.
You know
Summer
what I
shoe.
mean? Yeah, that's
Summer
it.
shoe. Going to the barbecues. Going to the
That's it.
park. Just
That's
being
it.
out and about, putting some miles
Come
on
on.
them.
Come on, that's it. You put
Okay.
miles on that. That shoe, it's worth it. It's worth it. What about you,
Okay.
man?
I could dig it. Yeah. So I copped. I picked up at I hit in store undefeated, but it's ain't about me. You got your wife up here. I'm happy for y'all. I know yours is coming real soon too. So you sent me over this picture, and I thought it was a really good picture. So you let me read it. You said remove one iconic moment, right? And so there was 4 moments. The first one was Kobe's final 60-point game, which you've been talking about a whole lot. Steph's gold medal game, when he hit him with the night night. Um, 2016 NBA dunk contest when Gordon went between the legs, not one leg, but both legs, two. And then the Cavs 3-1 comeback. Talk to me. Talk to me. What is the
So
most iconic?
again,
Talk
we
to me.
don't
Come on.
we would never remove anything about Kobe
Okay.
ever in his so that we could just, disregard that. The dunk contest, that was probably one of the most competitive dunk contests that I've seen at that time. So we won't eliminate that at that time. Um, Now that leaves a Steph gold medal game and Cavs 3-1 comeback.
That's wild. That's wild.
So I'm gonna go with the Cavs 3-1 comeback. Um, that is what I'm gonna choose. Again, that is what I feel. I always will say this, and I'll say this again. if Draymond did not get suspended off of some
Oh,
flu whack stuff, this would have been a 4-1 game over set match. It would have been a wrap. But what I will say about this, only reason why I wouldn't want to delete this is because we've seen one of the most epic game-winning shots that we've seen in a Game 7 NBA final with Kyrie shooting over Steph. That is the only reason why I wouldn't want to eliminate. But again, I'm not going to eliminate Steph's gold medal moment. What? That was. You can't tell me that we have, besides Kobe in 2008 with the moment, when he hit him with the that there's ever been a gold medal game like that where Steph put him night. No,
bro,
no,
you're killing me right now. Like, I get it. I know you love Kobe. I know you're a Laker fan, but bro, I'm like Shannon Sharp right now. Like, GOAT James, bro. 3-1 comeback, bro. History. You've never seen that before.
There's a reason why we haven't seen it, because it's not supposed to happen. There's not suspension.
He did it against the Warriors. He didn't just do it against like anybody, bro. This was like Splash Brothers at that time. Like shoot your lights out, bro.
And let's not act like LeBron didn't have the squad over there. LeBron had Kyrie, Kevin Love.
Regardless, he came back 3-1.
Again, because Draymond Green got suspended.
Draymond Green, Kobe 60-point game.
Lakers
Steph gold medal night. GOAT James came back at 3-1, bro. He came back, bro. Come on, bro. What?
All right. Okay. So again, we see that you really don't know, iconic moments at all right now. So let me ask you, what would you gonna pick?
Truthfully, can I be real? You know I love Kobe.
No, you don't. Because if you say what I think you're gonna say, you do not. If you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say, no, you do not.
But it wasn't an iconic moment. He took every shot that game.
He did not take every shot. Now we're being blasphemous right now. Like, come on.
He took every shot that game, bro.
Oh yeah,
What was his? Give me the stats, bro. What was his shot attempts? What was the field goal attempts?
First of all, we are gonna need another episode because ultimately,
to be continued. To be continued.
This episode is going to end up being more than what it is.
Because I'm not even going to give my 3. No, I am going to give my. Hold on. What is it? 1 we're taking out? Just know this. I'm not taking out Bronze. I'm not taking out GOAT James 3-1 comeback. I'm not taking out the dunk contest. It's between Steph Curry and Kobe Bryant.
And you took out Kobe Bryant. Wow.
I didn't take him out. It's between those two.
No, you did. No. I don't want to hear. No. Don't put the fence.
It's not the
pick one.
Okay.
Pick one.
I'm going to pick Kobe. Steph's out. See you later, Steph.
So now we lying. You just told the fans already, the family, that you was already going to throw Kobe out because it's not an iconic.
I said it was between. I did say that. You are right. I'm stand on it. I did say it's not an iconic moment. What was iconic about it? Because it was his last game.
His last game, his age. They were down. Bro, they were going against a Utah team that was trying to get into the playoffs.
LeBron is 40-something. Is he 40, 30? He's an old man playing basketball still, bro. At a high level. I love Kobe, bro.
You don't. I thought you did. You don't anymore.
You got to keep it a buck. The 60-point game wasn't like all that iconic. It was cool, but it wasn't like – it was cool to go down in Kobe's history, but it wasn't cool to go down like all iconic. Kobe had so many more iconic moments than his last 60-point game where he shot maybe over 50% of the shots. Like,
okay, it wasn't over 50% of
the other team was leaving him open, bro, so he can score.
No, they were not. Okay, now we're lying. This is blasphemy.
My man's did a whole farewell tour in the NBA.
This was the last game. That don't mean they was giving them open shots. Gordon Hayward was definitely not. Again, the list goes on. That Utah team was fighting for a playoff team, or fighting for a playoff spot. But again, he shot a lot.
Oh, he shot a lot. I remember. But he shot a whole lot.
But he still shot over 40% or over 45, 22 out of 50. He shot a lot.
Hold on.
But
hold on. How many shots did he take?
First of all, you almost had you called you something that
How many shots
He
did he
shot
take?
10. He shot 10 of 12 from free throw line. My man has 6. My man
Okay,
has
no,
6.
no field goal
Nah,
attempts.
nah, we're not going back. You
Did
heard
you
me. You
did you
already heard
say
me.
22 out of 50?
My man shot
Bro,
50
that's
times.
ridiculous.
That is not.
No,
Hey,
nobody's shooting 50 shots, bro. They did that on purpose. You
they did
should do it on
not.
purpose. That's Kobe. He got to go out that way, but it's not an iconic moment. There's nothing
Bro, that is an
iconic about
iconic
that.
moment. Come on,
Shooting
bro.
50 times, there's nothing iconic about that. And then you lose. Did we lose? They lost.
No,
They won?
they won.
Okay, you better win. You shoot 50 shots, bro. Like, come on, dude. Really?
He still was +7 on the court. I'm gonna just let you know that now. +7 on the court, plus or minus.
LeBron, the 3-1 comeback is the most iconic moment out of that picture. It is the number one iconic moment out of that picture. That
And
series had you
the
out of
team
your
shot
seat,
85 times. The team shot 85 times.
and he shot 50 of those.
Shot 50 of them.
Oh my,
I'm just saying. Just saying.
that's a
And
that's
then
a
the
lot, bro.
opposing team shot 83 times.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot. The
Anyway,
audacity.
as we wrap up this blasphemy
Oh my
topic,
gosh.
because right now in the comments, if y'all feel free, y'all want to leap, go ahead, get in them comments.
Yes.
Talk to us. Let us know what you feeling. Because honestly, we could go either way in this episode, but we felt the way we did and we stayed 10 toes down on what we felt. Even though Mario was a little shaky at the end. I don't know. Maybe I'll go Steph moment.
I was trying to be, but now that you said my man shot 50, and may his soul rest in peace. But 50 shots?
But at his
50?
age, time out. What
A
50-year-old is
50
shooting
clip?
as what 50-year-old is shooting as
50
accurate
shots.
that is having that much energy under his legs? Because Dwayne Wade sure didn't. He sure didn't. He tried. And he didn't. Even though he had a triple-double his last game of the season. He sure didn't get a 60-piece. Let's just be honest there. Did
To
he
be
or did he not?
continued. To be continued.
Anyways, if you haven't already, subscribe, repost right there. Right there. Go ahead, do it for us. As well, make sure that you are commenting in the comment section. Like I said before, and Mario noticed, man, we have something special coming up over the summer. We just want to be able to build up to this moment, and we want to make sure we have enough fans as well as enough family that is participating in this event before we even put it on. As well, we want to give a shout out just to everybody out there, man, that had a tough week, that pushed through, man. Keep doing what you guys are doing, man. More positivity to you guys going in this week, man. Keep being strong. But most importantly, man, just know you got a family that's right here, man, supporting you through it all, man. But as we get ready to go into this week, man, leave them with some positive, Mario, as we getting ready to head to a great week. But most importantly, man, we getting close to episode 20. So I'm just throw that out there. Episode 20 is
That's
looking
what's
real
up.
familiar on the other side, bro.
No.
So
Yeah.
go ahead and leave them with something, man. And again, man, let's get out of here.
Yeah, so tap in, comment, subscribe, let us know your thoughts on, the iconic moments. It was a hot topic. And let us know. It's 50 shots a lot, but nonetheless, tap in. At the start of your week,
For a
get you some good
40-year-old.
laughs in, get you some good laughs in, get you some good content in, and you have an awesome week. 50 shots. Let us know. We out.